Welcome to Collecting Chaos and the Eternal Mylite Project. I had a new segment that I'm going to introduce in this video, as well as showing some books out of my collection, which is what the Eternal Mylite Project is really all about. I have an update for you on the Fantastic Four project, and of course I'm going to show you which comic I have decided is my cover of the week, my favorite cover of the week. This was a very tough decision. I picked four that I really, really like. But what I think I'll do is I'll show you one that didn't make it out of those four before we continue. Now, as much as I like this cover, let me get it so that you can actually see it. And I really do like this cover. It just isn't quite as good as the other three. It just doesn't quite have the impact for me that the other three did. So this one I'm going to say is number 4. It didn't make it into the final 3. Now, for those of you that are keeping score, that leaves these as the final 3. Which one will I choose? You're just going to have to keep watching the video to find out. Recently, I was perusing the internet, looking at comic books, and I came across the description of a comic that I thought was kind of interesting. Mint. That was the description of the comic. Mint with corner crease. If it has a corner crease, how can it be mint? But that's what the description was. Mint with corner crease. Obviously, the guy was just trying to get some way of trying to say that this is a perfect comic when it was nowhere near close. But it got me to thinking. There are a lot of people out there that just really don't know how a defect can affect the grade of a comic. Now, I've delved into grading a little bit in the past, and I'm not going to teach you to grade, because you just can't do that, not in a video like this. If I could take you one-on-one, in person, show you different defects, and then I might be able to teach you how to grade. I taught my wife to grade, and she don't know jack about comics, but she knows a mint comic when she sees one. And she can give it, a ballpark, high grade, mid grade, low grade. She can do that. She's rejected comics because she saw little creases on them that she didn't think made them worth getting or worth selling, and ended up getting them for pennies on the dollar when she didn't even want them at all because she didn't like the grade. But that's neither here or there. We're going to talk about creases. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about creases. And I'm going to call this segment Grading with Chaos. So I'm going to get out a couple of comic books and show them to you. And they have different types of creases on them. I have 3 Our Army... Well, I have an Our Fighting Forces and 2 Our Army at War comics. And we're going to zoom in on some of these defects so that you can see them even better. And here we have the typical, what people generally think of as a crease. It's long, it's color breaking, and obviously it affects the condition of the book. But there are other creases on this book also. There's these spine creases that don't just break color, they actually break the comic. Of course, it has this spine roll here. Now on the back, here's a nice long crease that doesn't break color, apparently. So in theory, this could be pressed out, and this is what they would call a pressable crease. Unfortunately, it does break color when you get down here, and if you look at the inside, it most definitely breaks color. And the worst part about it is it weakens the paper. It's broken the fibers of the paper. So even if you press it out, it's going to come back. Here's another type of a crease. This is more of a wrinkle than a crease. Maybe this could be pressed out, but you would always be able to see it. That's right here. So the different types of creases. That's on that one. On this one, I have some long creases that look more like scratches. But if you look on the inside, you can see where they continue on the inside, which makes it a crease. Here's another one of those long creases that looks kind of like a scratch. But again, if I look on the inside, you can see where the fold was. This has a lot of stress creases. There are two different types of creases that you find on a, well actually three different types of creases you find on a spine. You have the long vertical stress crease, or long vertical crease, which is caused by opening it and reading it, obviously. On the newer comics, that always breaks color. On the older comics, it didn't always break color. Then you have the horizontal stress creases, and sometimes these are created just from wear and tear, and sometimes from this happening to the comic. The comic gets bent for one reason or the other. Maybe it was being pulled out of the rack and got bent. Maybe it sat in the rack too long and got bent that way. And that's a horizontal stress crease, or horizontal crease. Then we have corner creases. This was the type of crease that the guy was talking about. Mint comic with the corner crease. And the corner crease actually, in the picture, it looked kind of like this. He showed a picture of it. The crease was obviously color breaking. There's no way to get that out. There's no way that's a mint comic. Fine, maybe. Mint, no way. How do creases affect a comic book? See if I can find one. Here's one. Here's an example of a non-color breaking crease. I don't know if you can see it or not. Maybe I can bring it up a little closer. Okay, this crease right here does not break color. That is what people refer to when they say a pressable crease. In theory, it could be pressed out. All creases eventually will come back, even with the pressing. You can disagree with me if you want, but I've been doing this a very long time, and yeah, they come back eventually. While this will affect the grade, this type of crease here, this non-color breaking crease, if you will, or pressable crease, it's considered a minor defect. Even if it was a long crease going the length of the book, if it doesn't break color, and on the inside it doesn't really break color, it's still considered a minor defect. Because eventually it can be taken out. The problem with those over time is dirt has a habit of building up in that area, and that even when you press them out and get rid of the crease, you still see the dirt line. You still see that dirt shadow. These vertical, even though they're very small, there are these horizontal creases on the spine. Even though they're very small, they are not considered a minor defect. Well, they are, but they aren't. And let me explain what I mean by that. If you have one on a comic, yeah, it would be a minor defect. I would say up to about 3 on a comic, maybe even 4, you can still consider it minor defect. Yes, it's going to take what could be mint down to a very fine. More than about 5 or more, don't even think about the very fine range. You got a fine comic. Could be fine plus if it presents really well, or if it's not a dark spine. Bottom line though, it's going to affect it that much. Creases are death to a comic in more ways than one. It's death to the grading of a comic, and it most certainly affects the book. Almost every crease, if not taken care of properly, this crease, if I left this out of a bag and just let it go, eventually that whole piece would tear off. Helps if you can see what I'm talking about. This crease right here. Eventually, if I left this out of a bag or out of protection, that whole piece there would eventually tear off. And you see this all the time. What happens when it tears it off? Well, yeah, you're down to the very good minus, good plus range. So you can't have a crease on a comic and have it be mint. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way. If you have a crease on your comic, the highest you're going to get is a near mint grade, and that's if it's one of these little tiny stress creases like right here. You got one of those, maybe 2, you might have a near mint minus, or even a very fine to near mint comic. It's not going to be mint. And I think that's enough ranting about stress or about creases right now. With one exception, I don't have one here. I have plenty of them, but I just don't have one out. The long vertical crease from a subscription copy. You can have a perfect comic, a mint comic, and if it has a subscription line or a subscription crease, and it always breaks color either on the front cover or the back cover, the highest grade you can assign it is very good. It's that devastating. The book can be perfect other than that. It doesn't matter. I see people stretching it to fine. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't mind getting a stress crease on a subscription crease on a comic, especially if it's on the back, and saying it's fine. The problem we have, again, is if it's non-color breaking on the front but color breaking on the back, you're going to have that dirt shadow on the front, right down the middle. So, like I said, that's enough talking about creases today. Hope you learned a little bit from that, and I'll continue with another defect subject next week. Here they are again. And I've decided regardless of how much I love this cover, and believe me, I really do love this cover, it's just not my cover of the week. So we're going to take away the Spider-Man. And then there were 2. And now for what you've all been waiting for, the Eternal Mylite Project. And we're going to start off with Ghost Rider number 2. This is from 1973, October 1973. Jim Mooney art. And I kind of collect these. I buy them when I see them. I don't go crazy if I don't get it. I will eventually get all of them, but it's not something that's high priority for me. As you can see, remember what I was talking about? Here's a color breaking crease here, color breaking crease here. There's a third, there's a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh. It's a gorgeous copy, but it's only fine. Ha! Made you learn something. And here's Ghost Rider number 6. This one is a really, really nice copy. Nice, reasonably white back. Could use a little cleaning, but I don't know. Probably not going to deal with it anytime soon. Here's Ghost Rider number 7. Another nice copy, with the exception of the centering of the cover. Brother Voodoo value stamp. Here, let's look at all the value stamps in these. There's a Stranger value stamp. I'm surprised Marvel hasn't brought back Foon. Was there no value stamp in this one? Was this pre-value stamp? It might have been. Yep, that one's pre-value stamp. It's not that it's missing, it's just it never had one. Here's number 13. Nice white cover on, or white back cover on that. Didn't see a value stamp in this one either. Maybe this one is post-value stamps. What date was this one? August of 75, yeah. I don't see why it wouldn't have had a value stamp in it. It's not that it's missing, it just doesn't have one. Ghost Rider number 14. Another one in really nice shape. Nice white cover, or back cover. Number 15. Number 16. Look, it's Howard the Duck. There you go. There's a Marvel value stamp. But it only shows partial. I'm thinking it's Human Torch, though. That's when the stamps were more like a puzzle. George Tuska is the artist on this now. Number 17. This is from April of '76, I believe. I got that somewhere. I've also got the other one. There was a Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man and an Amazing Spider-Man versus Superman. There's number 19. Advertisement for Crazy. Number 20. I think they changed the artist around this time again. Yep, John Byrne and Don Perlin. That's some early John Byrne work there. Number 34. Minor spine roll. I might decide to take that out. I don't know. And number 50. I like this cover too, but this is not even going to be close to one of my covers of the week because this is coming out of my collection already, and I'm only doing covers of the week off new acquisitions. Then we have from DC, Ghosts number 21. Well-loved copy. Ghosts number 32. Could use a little bit of a cleaning. Not going to worry about it. Ghosts number 57. I don't have a whole lot of these. I don't want to get rid of them because I like them, but by the same token, they're not high on my list of priorities to collect either. If I see them cheap enough, I'll pick them up. Ghosts number 58. And this one has got some major water damage going on. This one might be a candidate for a good soaking. See if we can't get some of that water damage off the inside pages. I haven't tried that yet. Well, not seriously any. I've dabbled with it. This may be a future project comic. Haven't decided. I'll let you know. GI Combat number 149. The upper staple is detached. GI Combat number 182, and this is a Stars and Stripes copy. What I mean by that is this came from a military base overseas. You can tell by the little stamped star here. And they would do that to prove that it was purchased. So inside we have the Mark Jewelers advertisement. So if you're looking to buy comics and you see one with that little star and it's from the mid-70s, pick it up because it might be a Mark Jewelers variant, and chances are it will be. And here's number 252. And now we'll go back to Marvel and Battlestar Galactica #1. This is a collector's item here. It says so right there, first collector's item issue. So obviously if you don't have it in your collection, your collection is just incomplete. You didn't see me roll my eyes, obviously. If you could have seen my face, you would have seen me roll my eyes. Next up, Battlestar Galactica #2. This is a newsstand edition, and there's another newsstand edition, and another newsstand edition, and a direct market edition. Now, easy way to tell the direct market, obviously, is it has a blank box here instead of the barcode. The still only 35 cents isn't here. It just says 35 cents #2 instead of having the #2 over here. There is no month on this comic, and instead of the CC, that is the distribution code, the distributor's code, and so the distributor code and the 2 and April is missing. Instead, they just put Battlestar Galactica there. And that's a quick and easy way to tell how the difference. This is actually a more rare comic, but in high grade, this one would be more valuable, even though it's more common. In high grade, newsstand editions are very difficult to find. And here's Battlestar Galactica #3, and as you can see, they raised the price from 35 cents to 40 cents. And this is, of course, direct market. And #9, and here they changed it a little bit more. As you can see, there's still no month on it, but they put the barcode in and put a line through it. And #10. Now let's go to the next one, which is back to DC, and Beowulf, the Dragon Slayer, #1. And this has art by Ricardo Viamonte, and I like his stuff. It's really, I like this series. Unfortunately, I've only read the first 2. There's #1 and #2. Because I don't have #3, so I've never read #4. But yeah, I like Viamonte's art. He's really good. Beowulf meets Dracula. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? Beowulf predates Dracula probably by 200 or 300 years. Oh well, I'm not going to worry about it. And that is my Eternal Mylite portion of this Eternal Mylites video. What do you mean? Delco, what do you mean? What you're talking about? This video is not too long. No, it isn't. It isn't that long. I'm not going to cut this segment out. No, I don't care what you say. I'm not cutting it out. I'm going to show this segment too. Now, just forget you. I'm going to do what I want to do. What, are you going to not approve the video? Okay. I guess this won't be a Delco approved video. Anyway, I cleaned the cover a little more. Didn't want to bore you with that. and inside and outside. So that's kind of nice. So let's get on to what I'm going to do next, which means I got to get this out. Don't panic. I'm not going to trim the comic. Well, I am, but I'm not. I'm just going to trim the tape, okay? And it's a whole lot easier to do it this way. For one thing, this is a whole lot sharper. And I want to do this so that it doesn't hang over too far. Like I said, all I want that to do is be able to hold the staples in. So that's all I'm going to do to the first page for today. So we'll set that off to the side. And the second page I'm not doing anything to today. So set that off to the side. Now we go to the rest of the pages. And the rest of the pages, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little piece of tape here. I'll show you on the first one, and then I'm just going to go ahead and... well, no, I'll show you on all of them. I can always fast forward the video. I don't think I need to reinforce the upper one. Yeah, I do. It's split all the way down also. So I'll be reinforcing both of them. And there you have it. Next video update, I might try to do in assembly. If you want to learn more about cleaning comics and doing pressings and all of that stuff, I recommend you go to the Immaculate Comics YouTube channel and watch Rick Morgan's videos. He uses a scientific method of cleaning stuff. He makes his own cleaners. He really... yeah, if you want to know something about the science behind it, go check out his videos. Some of them are dry, some of them are a little boring to the average person. I find them all fascinating. So give him a try, and I'll put a link in the description to his channel. Little shout out to him today. And what's next? What's next? What's next? Oh yeah! Time for the last segment. It's time. It's time for me to choose. What a decision. What a tough, tough decision. On the one hand, the eyes of the girl in the background just look right down into your soul. And that's one of the things that just makes this comic so wonderful. That and the white background. It's just a phenomenal cover, and I absolutely love it. On the other hand, this is Batgirl in jail. Again, absolutely love this cover. I don't know how I'm going to make up my mind. Ultimately, though, I think I'm going to have to go with Detective Comics 497, Batgirl in Jail. That's my favorite comic cover of the week of my new acquisitions. Breaks my heart. I really wanted to pick both, but I have to pick one, and this one speaks so much. It tells you so much just by looking at it. Look at all the disappointment on all the faces. From the police officer to Commissioner Gordon. They're all just so disappointed with her. And it looks like she's disappointed with herself. This is the cover. Didn't think I was ever going to make a decision on that one. Remember, before you handle your comics, your collectibles, whatever they happen to be, make sure you wash your hands. It's good for your comics, good for your collectibles, because you don't get all those greases and oils on them. And it's good for your health, because you don't get the dirt from the comics on your hands. Well, you do, but they'll be clean, so it won't really matter, because you're going to wash them again afterwards. And we'll see you next video. Bye.